you were like the first person that said to me, I believe in you. And it was just, sorry. I think I just really needed to hear that, you know. God, I'm such, so much emotion. But like, you know, it was one of those moments where I was like, no one's ever said that to me before. No one's ever said that I believe that you can do this through coaching. I don't think that you need, like, you don't need that. You've got this yourself. It triggered me and it expanded me, you know, and it was one of those moments where it's still integrating to this day. And I was just saying to Juliana before, like, I'm not going to be staying as long as I thought I was, because I've realized that I now have the belief that I can do this.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Client Spotlight series. I have one of my amazing clients from the most recent round of the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind, Hayley Lloyd, here. She is going to be sharing her story, creating like $140,000 in the time that she was in Magnetize, and also going from like 5K months, like an average 5K months, 6, 8K, to now having 30, 50K months. So Hayley, welcome. Please introduce yourself to everyone.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. So my name's Hayley, and I am a coach, specifically helping other coaches to scale to multiple six figures through a combination of mindset and strategy, and really helping them to calibrate their nervous systems to become a match for wealth as well. So that is who I am and what I do.
So good. Okay, and so tell us a little bit about, take us back to the moment when you decided to join Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind. Oh my God, my eyelash is like in the way. Tell me, why did you decide to join Magnetize? Where were you at in your business? You were making, I mean, we just literally looked at like your spreadsheet of your income. And just before this interview, you were like, oh my God, right before I joined, it was like 5K. So tell us about where you were so that people can really relate, because they might think, oh my God, it's nice for her, but it's not going to happen for me. And so we want to help them like meet you where you were. So where were you at?
Okay, I just got goosebumps as we were talking about this, because I think it's so relevant. And a little bit of additional context as well is I actually have a full-time job. So I work for Canva as a creative producer and design lead. And so this is something that I'm balancing on the side. So I actually came across Juliana through a friend recommendation, maybe at the beginning of 2021. And I decided not to join the first round of the program because I wasn't sure what I was doing with my full-time job. As the year progressed, I realized that this was something that I was really passionate about. I'd been seeing Juliana's content a lot, and everything was just speaking to my soul. And I was like, I'm at the right time now. So I actually ended up deciding to join the cohorts, like I think it was like a month and a half or two before the program actually started, because I was just so certain. And previous to that, I was having inconsistent income. I was having like sort of a 5K month here, an 8K month there, 3K, a couple of 3K months, nothing like crazy consistent. And I was looking for some support on really helping me to clarify exactly what I do and being exposed to big wealth. Juliana speaks a lot about big income months, and I was like, is that really possible, for me as well? Like, is that possible? And I think, it's very easy to see all these big numbers and be like, oh, that's not possible. But I wanted to be in that energy. I was like, I need to learn from this person that is achieving the things that I want to achieve. So that was kind of like the breakdown of everything. And obviously I did have the full-time job, so time was an issue that was initially coming up. And the way that I sort of navigated that was, I made the decision that I wasn't going to be a victim to my decisions. The thing that was important to me was I wanted to build this coaching business. What was also important to me was, I have equity inside the company that I'm at. So it was important for me to balance both of those things.
Right.
And I made the decision. They are both important enough for me to be able to navigate both of those things. I think a lot of the time we can become a victim to our decisions, like, oh, I have to do this. And that's really draining, So making that empowered decision that I can do two things, and that's what I want to do, actually gives you so much more brain space back.
So good. Oh my God. I love that. Okay. So you were in like this inconsistency. You had this full-time job. There was a lot for you committed. And then what happened when you joined? What happened?
So when I joined,
tell us what happened.
So when I joined, I had like I think it was like a month and a half or two or something where the program hadn't started yet. So we had access to the content. So I started going through like it was just like a few of like the initial modules. And there was just a couple of tweaks that I made to like messaging, but also mindset shifts around like how to view premium clients and what it meant. And within that period, I actually, before we even started, I ended up having my biggest month in business. It was a 55K month in business. And I also signed 2 10K pay in full one-to-one clients as well, which I'd never done before. Previously, I was charging like 5K. And I don't think any had been paying full before. So it was just like one of those, like, it was small mindset tweaks and, you know, obviously like some content tweaks as well. And I was just like, oh my God, like, this is wild. You know, so before we even started,
right,
I had made really good momentum. And then it just sort of like continued from there. When the call started, it was, from the first call, it was just the energy that you are in that is that it's of such a high caliber and everyone is wanting the same things that everything seems possible, you know, and suddenly things that you're like, oh, is that possible for me? You're like, of course that's possible for me. Right. That's a huge mindset shift, you know. It's to go from a place of doubt to a place of certainty. That does wonders for the belief that you have in yourself and the trajectory of your future.
Oh my God, mic drop. So good. Oh, I like can't even, I have no more questions to ask. That was so good. Okay, so let's take people inside your experience, inside the coaching, because they're like wondering, is Juliana the right person for me? Is this program really going to give me what I need? I've signed up for lots of other things, or I'm thinking of signing up for other programs that seem amazing. And so can we take them inside of your experience of the coaching? Like, what were some of the biggest breakthroughs that you had throughout the coaching, and what does it feel like to be coached by me? Those are two separate questions, so we can talk about breakthroughs first or whatever you want, but those are the main things that people want to know.
Whenever you ask me a question like this, I get goosebumps because I'm like so excited to share my answer. But okay, so the first part, what is it like to be coached by you? So Juliana has an incredible way of being coached, and of coaching people, and I find it it's rare to find this kind of coaching in the industry. People are either like very much on the strategy side or very much on the mindset side. And there's also sometimes, you know, when it's mindset coaching, not a huge amount of like getting into the body, which is like regulating the nervous system and stuff. Juliana really does, you know, you are able to coincide and link the strategy and the soul and the mindset all together. And so it was quite almost confronting to watch, like how you would flip between like badass sort of like strategic support and then to intense space holding for inner child work, where, you know, people would be crying on pretty much every single call because you would just go so deep, and then you would switch gears when someone else needed some strategic support. And like the switch between the two, it was like it gave you the space to feel what was coming up, but it also was like the no bullshit, come on, like, let's get this done, which you also need. It doesn't let you sit in like a place of victimhood for too long, which was amazing. So one of like the big experiences that I had, I had quite a big realization when I was in the program around my full-time job, where I basically realized, you know, I had the plan to basically be leaving my full-time job at the end of 2021. And I had this realization that I actually couldn't, in my mind, I couldn't leave Canva because of tax reasons. I would lose all of the equity that I had worked hard for. And I had a lot of equity in Canva.
She has a lot of equity. I know how much she has. She has a lot of equity. It's not pennies on the ground. She has a lot of equity. It's a big decision that she had on her plate. It was like, what do I do?
Yeah. And I came because, you know, I'd been silent for a couple of the calls, I think, and you picked up on it. You know, you were like, hey, I haven't heard from you. Like, and I was like, yeah, I'm hiding.
I don't let anyone hide.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, you keep a tabs on everyone. And I, you know, when I did sort of finally open up, I had this sort of like big breakdown moment. And, you know, you created such a safe space for me to sort of have that breakdown, which I needed to sort of, and I realized that I had this feeling that I couldn't do it, by myself. And I was trying to decide whether I should go all in on my business or whether I should, decide to do both things. And it was, the coaching that I received is still fully integrating today. Like I think back on this piece of coaching frequently, and in the end I decided to maintain the position at Canva. However, the coaching that Juliana gave me was she held space for me to cry and to realize that the thing underneath was that I didn't believe in myself, that I didn't believe that I could do this myself. I'm gonna get emotional. And you were like the first person that said to me, I believe in you. And it was just... Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I think I just really needed to hear that,
Yeah.
God, I'm so much emotion. But it was one of those moments where I was like, no one's ever said that to me before. No one's ever said that I believe that you can do this through coaching. I don't think that you don't need that. You've got this yourself. And it triggered me and it expanded me, and it was one of those moments where it's still integrating to this day. And I was just saying to Juliana before, I'm not going to be staying as long as I thought I was, because I've realized that I now have the belief that I can do this. Like, my business is growing exponentially, like quantum leaps are being made. And it's because there was this one moment and everyone in the room, it wasn't just Juliana, the coaching was incredible, but it was also the space that was being held was just like so safe. People reached out to me afterwards and offered to hold space for me so that we could talk about it and, that I could process it. And I hadn't had that kind of support before. And so it was, an incredibly profound shift for me that needed to happen for me to believe that it was possible. And as I say, it's still integrating. It's still something that I refer to frequently, and I'm like, it can happen. Holy shit, So yeah, that was...
Oh my
sorry.
God.
So emotional.
Oh my God, no! Zero apologies. All parts of you are welcome. This is beautiful. And thank you for just going there and being so vulnerable and sharing it. I mean, I cry in these interviews every time, so I'm glad you were the first to cry first, because I'm always the one that cries after. So I'm like, okay, I'm not alone here. Thank you for just being vulnerable. And I can see how that belief has actually slotted in so well, because look at your results. Right? Like, you were going from inconsistent, not that money means anything about us, but it does reflect our level of belief in what we're capable of. And the beautiful thing is that you get to decide. And that's something that I really want to encourage everyone to hear, that I am not here to tell people, quit your job, become an entrepreneur. It's about guiding you to the decision that is best for you and leaving it up to you to decide. You can still make a lot of money, and you can still let it sit until it's right for you to move through the transition whenever is the right time for you. And so I just really want to acknowledge you for being willing to receive it and integrate it. And I can just see how you're shining online in so many ways, and you're literally feel like a different person. Before you were timid and I don't know if I can. You were way more timid, and now you're just owning the internet. And so I can just see how the belief in you has increased so much.
It has. And that was the other thing, was that you didn't say in the moment, you were like, you've got to make this decision, this is the only way. You were like, the decision's yours, whatever you decide is perfect. And this could be your reality as well, because it's a belief thing, and it was just kind of shell-shocking, it really did. And I also had this moment in there as well where I was like, oh, maybe I just want to be a content creator, maybe I want to quit coaching. And you were like, so it sounds like there's some self-sabotage going on because you can combine these things. I was like, interesting. So there was a lot of so much stuff that. It is so rare to find incredible coaching. And you really do offer that inside the mastermind. It's amazing.
Mm, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay, and so tell us what else. Well, there was one more thing that I thought was really cool before we jumped on this interview, which you talked about boundaries.
Yes,
Tell us a
yeah.
little bit about what that breakthrough was about, because especially with people who have either a full-time job or have kids, or you don't have clients that are, asking for a lot of things, and then you start resenting them. So tell us a little bit about your journey, what you learned inside the mastermind about boundaries.
Yeah, so that was a big one. And I think, previously, when I had been deciding whether I wanted to do it, do the mastermind, I had been, my clients were my life. I felt like I wanted to save them. I felt like I needed to be so involved with everything that they were doing. And if I missed, a message or something that they send me, then they wouldn't be able to fix it by themselves. And it was just all like really disempowering things that actually made me, it's a people pleaser thing. I was over giving.
Yeah.
And I had content in the back end, yet I was re-explaining things to people consistently. And I think it was actually even on the first call that me and you had, because I paid in full.
Yeah.
And you said, the big thing for you is going to be, don't give people, tell people to go and consume the content themselves. Give them the direction to go and consume the content in the back end, and tell them to come back. Just have that boundary. Don't feel like you need to do all the hand holding yourself. I saved so much time. I didn't even realize how much I was just in everyone's business and almost micromanaging, because I felt like, I think there was also this thing of wanting to feel needed.
Yeah.
And when we started, I was like, you really helped me put up those boundaries of a little bit of, no, it's okay. Your clients that can do this by themselves, because the content that you've given them is really, really great.
Yeah.
And what happened? They're all super self-sufficient. Yeah. No one batted an eyelid. No one cared.
Yeah.
They feel super empowered, because they were like, oh, great, Hayley trusts me. She's not trying to create a codependent relationship.
Right.
And it was, I saved so much time. And I think we can, especially if you're, time poor, you can create a lot of extra tasks for yourself by thinking you need to do everything.
Yeah.
And by wanting to overgive and over deliver. And that can often be the thing that's draining the most time. So putting up stronger boundaries with clients, how you communicate with them and everything, that was a game changer for me in terms of time. So yeah, it helped me manage both, and even in Canva actually,
Of course, everywhere.
Even meetings now, I've cut my meetings down to 15 minutes instead of hour ones, because I've just been like, we can do this in 15 minutes. Let's do this, So it's just been setting those boundaries with everyone in my life. And it's been really transformational and actually really empowering for everyone else as well.
So good. Oh my God. I could talk about this all day long. We could expand on it, but we only have 20 minutes. So, okay. So what would you say to somebody who is thinking about Magnetize, who's watching this? You watch these interviews. You just told me, you're like, I think I watched all of them, so I know how they go. What would you say to somebody who's watching this one specifically, you, because maybe they didn't click on all the other ones? What would you say to them if they're not sure?
The thing that I would say is, if you are currently sat there and you are wondering how, or wondering if it's possible for you, you need a program like this, because your mind doesn't expand until you actually witness it's possible. And you notice that everyone in the group experiences shifts like this. And it's because our brains pick up on, we are the sum of the people we surround ourselves with. We pick up on the energy of everyone else in the collective. So if you have the doubt now, this is the time to get yourself into a group of people that are all going to be aiming towards the same things. Get yourself someone that is like Juliana, that is at that level that you want to be at, because it expands your mind. The belief that you have in yourself can completely change when you're in someone else's energy that believes in what you want. Because, I can say from being in your energy, you genuinely believe this can happen for anyone.
Yep.
And having you hold belief for other people before they have it themselves, that's huge, you know. So I would say just do it. If you have the doubt right now, like that's the bit that has to change, and getting yourself in Juliana's energy will change that.
We will remove all doubt that is
Yeah,
possible.
yeah.
Like we're just gonna give you certainty. Thank you so much, Hayley, for being here, for being just such an amazing woman and being so open and vulnerable and courageous and willing to receive the coaching, because truly I cannot take credit for any of your results. You created that. You were the one who was willing to receive all the coaching and implement it. And so kudos to you. And thank you for being such an amazing, amazing client and just an amazing human.
Thank you so much, and yeah, I'm just so grateful, so grateful. There we go. Got a snippet into my soul today.
We are so lucky. Thank you for giving us the honor. All right, loves. Thank you so much for watching this. I invite you to apply for the Magnetize and Monetize Mastermind. Come in, get the transformation, and I will see you on the inside. Bye.